Do you think the Second Amendment right protects the right of private armed militias to operate outside of state or federal control?
I believe the Second Amendment gives the states the right to have a militia, and it did not expand which way that went, but it gives the state that right. And I think it's extremely important. And I just want to clarify, Mr. Raskins, I never said arm every single person. People have the right to keep and bear arms if they choose. And I also feel that, if my children are in school and a madman with a gun comes to a school to kill people, unfortunately, a psychologist is not going to be able to just talk him out of it. That is not a good way to protect kids.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe, smash that like button, and drop a comment down below, because I want to hear from real Americans about where you stand on the Second Amendment. So, I've got to break down this heated exchange between Marjorie Taylor Greene and Democrat Congressman Jamie Raskin, because once again we saw the left twisting history, twisting the Constitution, and trying to undermine your God-given right to bear arms. And let me tell you, Greene held the line while Raskin played his usual game of cheap gotcha politics.
But again, we enjoy...
Do you think the students should be armed?
I think children should be trained with firearms. I definitely do. I think that's very important so that they understand the
So they could repel someone who comes in.
That's not what I said. I said I believe children should be trained with firearms so they understand how to use them and understand the safety. But I think that we should allow states to choose how they protect schools. I believe more in state rights and a lot less than federal intervention.
I want to be clear about your position. There are 50 states that now ban private militias on the theory that people don't have a right to take up arms against the government. You agree with that?
Mr. Raskins, I believe we're talking about due process rights. I'm not sure how we're onto this about private...
We're talking about the Second Amendment.
Yes, we're talking about the Second Amendment. That's right. I think
you mentioned abortion a moment ago, but if we could stick to guns for a second.
Well, abortion kills babies, innocent. We're talking about kids being killed.
Okay, good.
Abortion kills innocent children.
All right, I got your...
They can't protect themselves at all from this horrific procedure.
Sounds like you want to arm them. But in any event, my question is about militias.
That's impossible, Mr. Raskins.
But I wanted to talk about militias. Do you agree that it's constitutional for the 50 states to ban private militias?
I don't think they should be banned. Or the federal government isn't protecting our border. We're being invaded every single day by an unknown amount of people coming illegally across our border. I think we're in a time where states have the rights to be able to figure out how to protect their citizens.
Right. So here's what the states have figured out, Ms. Greene. They've figured out that private groups who are armed should not be taking up arms against the government and have no Second Amendment right against the state. So you agree with that?
I think the Second Amendment is clear. It means that we need well-armed citizens. And I believe that's extremely important, Mr. Raskins. And as weird as this body, or the Senate perhaps, is trying to violate the Second Amendment, but yet the Supreme Court just ruled yesterday that Americans need to be able to keep and bear arms, carry them.
Handguns.
Bear them means carry them. Okay. Carry them in order to protect themselves.
But I just found something that said, you're quoted as saying in talking to Real America's Voice that whereas January 6th was just a riot at the Capitol, and if you think what our Declaration of Independence says, it says to overthrow tyrants. So do you think that the assault on the Capitol was a legitimate exercise of popular insurrection?
Oh, Mr. Raskins, I know it's early in the morning, but this is the Rules Committee. This isn't your Trump derangement committee that you call the January 6th committee.
My last name doesn't have an S on it, Ms. Greene.
Oh, I apologize, Mr. Raskin.
Okay, you've been talking about the Second Amendment. You came here to talk to us about the Second Amendment, right?
I'm here to talk about due process rights and protecting Americans' due process rights.
All right, so I just want to be clear. You've been quoted at least as saying that the January 6th riot at the Capitol was in the spirit of the Declaration of Independence, which says you can overthrow tyrants. You've also testified that people have a right to carry guns, presumably wherever they want to go. So it seems to me that lots of people were armed on that day, but the logic of your argument is that everybody could have been armed and brought their weapons with them. And I'll take that as a conclusion.
What evidence do you have that a lot of people were armed that day? Mr. Raskin, do you have that to introduce into the record?
Just wait for it. But when it comes out, presumably you'll be supporting it, right? That they would have a right to have guns and knives with them. Is that right?
Mr. Raskin.
Is that your position?
No, Mr. Raskin.
No, I'm going to ask the questions here because this is the Rules Committee. You're not a member of the Rules Committee, Ms. Greene. Are you? Are you a member of the Rules Committee?
I'm a witness here at the Rules Committee.
Okay, so let me just ask you a question.
That is talking about due process rights, not your lies about January 6th, about President Trump and others.
Okay, I never mentioned him. You've brought him up. All right, I think your position has become clear. You think the Declaration of Independence says overthrow tyrants, that endows the people.
That's
that's a quote from you.
No, you're twisting words in an article.
Tell us what is your position.
I'm used to that.
I just ask whether we not talk over each other because our court reporter, the stenographer here is having a difficult time.
Mr. Scott, let me just ask you, and then we can close this, because I think I've gotten everything I need to get, but what's your position on it? Do you think the people have a constitutional right or a right under the Declaration of Independence to attack the government with any kind of weapon?
No, and let me clarify. You asked me my opinion on the Second Amendment. Obviously, my opinion is not consistent with recent Supreme Court decisions. The majority of the court is disagreed, and we got to go with what the Supreme Court. We have to respect the court, and they are working out what the individual right is. And they have said in the Heller decision that there are limitations. Yesterday, they indicated that the limitation that New York had was too much. So we're still trying to figure out what the individual right is. As I indicated, I think a plain reading of the Second Amendment is inconsistent with those decisions, but the decisions are what they are. And, you know, our system is the Supreme Court is the law of the land.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Chairman, the Constitution gives Congress the right to regulate, arm, fund, organize, discipline the militias. 50 states have banned private militias. There is no right for people to take up arms against the government, and I think we need to put down this insurrectionist interpretation of the Second Amendment that's out there. Justice Scalia has made it very clear that the Second Amendment permits reasonable regulations in the interest of public safety and public security, and this legislation advances, however modestly, that goal of making us all safer. And I yield back to you.
Ms. Fishbach.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I guess
Let's be honest here. Raskin isn't really debating. He's performing for the cameras, trying to score points against conservatives. He drags in irrelevant comparisons. He misrepresents Greene's words. And he pretends the Second Amendment is somehow up for debate when the Supreme Court has already ruled multiple times that it is an individual right. And what does Greene do? She cuts through the noise. She sticks to the plain meaning of the Constitution. She ties it back to real-world issues like border security. She refuses to let Raskin smear her as some cartoonish gun nut. This is what drives the left crazy, because deep down, they don't actually trust law-abiding Americans with freedom. They want you disarmed, dependent, and silent. Meanwhile, the same politicians who lecture you about guns are surrounded by armed guards 24/7. That's the height of hypocrisy. So here's the bottom line. The founders gave us the Second Amendment because they knew liberty doesn't survive if only the government is armed. Greene understands that. Raskin doesn't. Or worse, he does, but he doesn't care because his real goal is federal control over your life. Americans are buying guns in record numbers, not because they're extremists, but because they know what the left refuses to admit. The government cannot always protect you. In fact, sometimes the government itself is the threat. That's why the right to bear arms will never be collective. It's individual. It belongs to you, to me, to every law-abiding American who wants to defend their family, their property, and their freedom. So what do you think? Did Marjorie Taylor Greene put Jamie Raskin in his place? Or are Democrats still winning the narrative by spinning these hearings? Let me know down in the comments. And if you're sick of the Second Amendment being attacked, like this video, share it with a friend, and make sure you're subscribed.